So, if I hear you correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, you're actually debating about whether to run in a different district than 30. I'm debating about whether or not I would run where they put me, which is where I live.
Yeah.
In 33. In 33. And was that what about the idea of just moving back into 30 again on this fixed income that I am paid in Congress? The idea of actually buying a new home or getting we don't get enough money. A few moments later here she says on X, and I want all of you to read this, or if you can't read hopefully your kids can read this to you. You are mentally ill and a loser. If you follow someone just because you want to troll them on social, you clearly were never liked in school and probably have no friends in real life. And we're back. And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button. My people out. You know that it helps us out a ton, and of course it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now y'all, today we're going to talk about your girl Jasmine Crockett. Today something pivotal in her career happened that has a lot of people saying that she was kicked out of Congress. And frankly, that is I'm going to put that on the true Tommy meter on the trithometer. I'll put that up to 7,580. Something happened very significant today that really could see Jasmine Crockett could result in Jasmine Crockett not being in Congress anymore very shortly. So, we're going to cover that. And also, as you see from the coming up, she's having a bit of a meltdown. You know, now Jasmine Crockett is erratic. She's a person who's professional, prim and proper one moment, and then the next moment she is sister girl. So, you really can't tell what spawned this erratic outburst of hers. But, as you're going to see, she took the X to vent some feelings about her trolls. And I have to imagine that it might be a little bit of frustration because her chances of staying in Congress have been significantly weakened by today's activities. So first y'all, let's go ahead and hop into what happened today. The governor of the state of Texas, obviously Jasmine Crockett, she is a representative in that state. He signed a very controversial redistricting plan and that eliminated Jasmine Crockett's current district, at least in its current form. She's gonna have to fight now. She's no longer safe. She has to make decisions, and we're going to get into this later in the video. She has to decide in which district is she going to run. Might be a district she doesn't even live in. She's probably going to have to battle other Democrats now. So, she has effectively been kicked out of her district because her district, as she knew it, does not exist any longer. So, let's go ahead and hop into it. But before we do, y'all, make sure you take care of your money. I'm not going to make this a long one, y'all. Go to perilgoldp.com or call 844-651-8334.844-651-8334. If you have $50 to $100,000 or more in your retirement, protected from inflation, protected from monetary debasement, you're about to retire. Make sure your money is still there and it's still worth something by investing at least some of it in gold. Talk to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Go click the link now. Get the free information and protect your precious retirement. Hi, this is Governor Greg Abbott. I'm about to sign the law that creates the one big beautiful map that ensures fairer representation in the United States Congress for Texans. I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Patrick, Speaker Burrows, Senator King, Representative Todd Hunter, Representative Cody Vassett, and all of the legislature who stayed in the Capitol and got this law to my desk. Texas is now more red in the United States Congress. So there you can see Greg Abbott. He signed the bill that eliminated Jasmine Crockett's district. So in 2026, next year, it's going to be a battle royale, y'all. Does Crockett have what it takes to win? Does she have the snake, the backstabbiness to go after some of the Democrats who were once in a different district who might now want to compete in her district? Is she going to get backstabby and snaky? Is she going to get trolley? Because you know that's kind of the word of the day as it relates to Crockett. She took the X, y'all, and she went absolutely, can we call it a meltdown? I don't know what we want to call it, but she had a meltdown on X today. Maybe because she's feeling the pressure as her district was just eliminated. So y'all, I'm going to read to you what your girl said on X. Let's take a look here. She says on X should just have a troller option in addition to a follower option. The number of you that literally are just trolls that wait for me to post so that you can drive my engagement numbers up and make sure that my posts are seen on this cesspool of an excuse for a platform that has gone out of its way to shadow ban my page is wild, and I want all of you to read this, or if you can't read, hopefully your kids can read this to you. You are mentally ill and a loser. If you follow someone just because you want to troll them on social, you clearly were never liked in school and probably have no friends in real life. Now, mind y'all, this is shortly after Governor Abbott signed that redistricting. Look like a bit of a meltdown. I've got a long list of people I will never follow because I truly don't want to see anything they have to say. Starting with anyone who considers themselves to be MAGA. You have to ask yourself, God, what is wrong with me? And then pray He delivers you from your illness. Let us all say together, Amen. Now y'all, again, I'm going to loop in a little bit later so you can hear her in her own words talking about her calculations that she's making about what she's going to do with her political future. It is very uncertain. This is not clickbait. This is not hyperbole. You're going to hear her say she's trying to figure out what the heck she's going to do. But y'all, before we get to that, check this out. In response to Texas redistricting, which is going to potentially add up to 5 Republican representatives in the United States House of Representatives. In response to that, Gavin Newsom of California, he put his own redistricting plan out to try to counteract Texas by potentially adding additional Democratic districts in California because again, we're talking about the United States House of Representatives. And now Missouri has entered the fray and they're counteracting Gavin Newsom by redistricting to add more Republican. And I'm going to show y'all this clip real quick, but I've heard people say this. Of course, I don't have any independent verification, but apparently if there is a redistrict off, if there's a redistrict battle royale, which it seems like they're shaping up to be, apparently the Republican states have more firepower, and if they were to mobilize, they'd be able to not only match anything the Democrats do, but supersede it. So, you do have to wonder. I've heard other Democratic states want to join the battle now. We'll have to see how it shapes up, but Missouri has entered the fray. Let's take a look. But we start tonight at 5 with breaking news. Missouri will officially enter the national redistricting debate. Governor Mike Kehoe announcing a special session this afternoon. KS41 political reporter Charlie Keegan got the heads up on this yesterday and he joins us from the newsroom with details. Charlie. Governor Mike Kehoe is calling legislators back to Jefferson City on September 3rd, next Wednesday. He's asking them to redraw the boundaries of the state's congressional districts, creating a map that he calls the Missouri First Map. Here's a closer look at how that map would impact the Kansas City area. You see, it puts the plaza in downtown Kansas City under Mark Alford's district. Congressman Emanuel Cleaver's district would then spread all the way out to the Lake of the Ozarks. It would even include a sliver of Columbia in mid-Missouri. Governor Mike Kehoe said these changes put Missouri first. And he explained the decision to do this in a post on X. Take a listen. To ensure our districts and Constitution truly reflect Missouri values and put Missourians' priorities first, Congressman Emanuel Cleaver put out a statement in the last half hour. He said he calls this an attempt at gerrymandering and said it does more than change district lines. He claims it will silence people's voices and deny representation. Charlie Keegan, KSHB 41 News. So y'all, I want y'all to see Jasmine Crockett in her own words talking about her worries. Her calculations about how she's going to maybe stay in Congress. She even mentioned maybe running for a Senate seat. So yeah, this is serious. I'm going to go ahead and pop us right into the report that I made about this. So y'all go ahead and take a look at this and you judge for yourself. What do you think? Do you think Jasmine Crockett is going to be safe or not? Now, one thing that people have been talking about, and I wanted to wait until it was confirmed, but your girl Jasmine Crockett, her district is going to be redrawn, and she's going to have some tough decisions to make, including potentially running off against her own Democratic colleagues because the districts are going to be all mixed up, and we're going to show you that in this video. And also taking on some newcomers from her new districts who she doesn't even know who they are yet. So, we could actually see your girl Jasmine Crockett lose her seat or have to go up against her Democratic colleagues. You know, the ones who she's so close to now. She might have to go up against them to try to save her own self, y'all. So, we're going to see that as well. But first, let's just jump into this quick report about how the Democrats are going home. They're setting some conditions for them to go home, but it's all but a done deal. Let's take a look at that and then we'll come back and look at old Jasmine Crockett and see what she had to say about potentially losing her own seat. And now to the latest on the political standoff over redistricting in Texas. Texas Democrats now hinting they could return to Austin soon, but they have several conditions. Marcelino Medito is following all these changing developments in the newsroom. Marshall. Well, Len Sherman, Texas Dem has made clear this afternoon they have 2 conditions before they come back. Both appear to be happening. Let's break it down for you. Lawmakers want Republicans to adjourn the special session. Texas House Speaker Dustin Burrows has indicated he may do just that as early as tomorrow if there's still no quorum. The second condition involves California. Texas Dems want California to introduce plans to redraw congressional maps in their state. And this afternoon, Governor Gavin Newsom held a press conference laying out his state's plans to also draw new congressional maps to counter Texas's efforts. Take a listen. We're asking the voters for their consent to do midterm redistricting in 2026, 2028, in 2030 for the congressional maps to respond to what's happening in Texas, to respond what Trump is trying to excite. Texas House Democratic Caucus Chair Gene Wu issued a statement in part saying Trump thought he could easily get his way in Texas with compliant Republicans, but Democrats fought back ferociously and took the fight to Trump across America. The fight to protect voting rights has only just begun. Now, it's still unclear what day exactly Dems will return to Texas, but Governor Abbott has indicated he will call another special session right away and redistricting will remain on that agenda. Back to you. All right. Political drama continues. Thank you, Marcelina. I drama there. So y'all, now we're going to take a look at some clips from a recent interview just from yesterday with Jasmine Crockett. It's so funny how at first they were like, yo, we're not giving up. We're not giving in. And now Crockett's like, yeah, the Republicans are going to get what they want. I mean, what happened? Why did they go from hold him to fold them so quick? What was the point anyway of the running away if they were just going to fold so quickly? Anyway, let's take a look at what Crockett has to say here. Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Dallas. Thank you so much and welcome back to Eye on Politics. Absolutely. Thanks for having me. You bet. So, let's talk about this redistricting battle here in Texas that has certainly reverberated across the country. How do you see this shaking out? I think that you're going to see Texas ram it through because that's what Texas does with no input whatsoever from the members. And when I say the members, I mean even the Republican members. This map was not created by the Republicans in the House. And so this is a map that was sent down from up in D.C. somewhere. And so I think that that map is going to pass. So now Crockett is being drawn out of her own district, meaning she won't live in her district, y'all. Okay. So the district she lives in now that she represents once they redraw the map, her house is going to be outside of her district and she's going to have to decide which district does she run in. Does she move? I definitely want to ask you about everything that you mentioned. First let me go back because since you're making some predictions about congressional seats, what do you think is going to happen with a Congresswoman Julie Johnson? Because she's got a decision to make. Does she run in 32 under the new map if it's approved, which would become a Republican majority district, or does she have to challenge a Congressman Veasey whose district would move solely in Dallas County? Yeah, I think that we will hopefully work it out about who runs where. Obviously both of them are now in Republican districts. No one currently resides in 30, and then I reside in 33. So I think it is a matter of kind of us talking about what also recognizing that because there is new territory, there also may be new contenders to come in. So for me I'm going to get to polling because I feel confident I can win wherever I run. I do. But ultimately I'm trying to get a pulse on the district, right? You know what's funny? A lot of people have said that Crockett is a multi-millionaire. I've seen reports on it. We've done reports on it. But here, she talks like she's a broke college girl, y'all. Now, listen. I understand there are economic implications of moving. I get it. But, she the person who has like a $10 million net worth. I don't know. Let's take a look. So, I ended up with 200,000 additional people into 30. They are all coming from Tarrant County. I know nothing about those 200,000 people. Whereas where I live, obviously about 200,000 of us are still where I currently live along with a lot of the old 100 as well as a lot of the old 30 going all the way to that eastern portion, given that pleasant growth, some of that they got thrown into 32. So, it's about kind of, does Marc Veasey fit better into 30 now because it does have some Tarrant or not? And does Julie just kind of fit better at running in 33 than me? And is my district going to be okay with me running and being on this fixed government income and therefore not buying a home in the newly constructed 30? Obviously, I don't have to live there under federal rules. But some people want somebody that lives in the district, but obviously the vast majority of this district I have represented without actually living in the portions that they've left in 30. So, if I hear you correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, you're actually debating about whether to run in a different district than 30. I'm debating about whether or not I would run where they put me, which is where I live. Yeah. In 33. In 33. And was that what about the idea of just moving back into 30 again on this fixed income that I am paid in Congress, the idea of actually buying a new home or we don't get enough money? I mean, I'm being honest, and I know that some people may take issue with that because they talk about how much money we make, and I get it. It's not that we're obviously getting minimum wage, but by the time you talk about having and I have a mortgage and I have an interest rate that is like 3%, interest rates are not that low anymore. Right? That's number one. Number two, so it's a matter of, oh, do you sell your home then go somewhere else and get a higher interest rate? Like, there's all these variables. And as a single woman who has one income, who's not allowed to make outside income, there's a lot to be had there. I think I have a strong enough rapport with what is left in 30 that they trust me to be a strong advocate for these areas that I've already represented. So, there really are a lot of considerations that she and her Democratic colleagues are going to have to make. Now, who knows what's going to happen? This is the beginning. It's just getting started. It's going to be a very interesting show. Now they're trying to get California to redraw. Now they're trying to get Maryland to redraw. Now they're trying to get other states to redraw their districts to give more Democrats. Y'all, this is going to be quite the interesting show. So y'all let me know, what do you think about all this? Do you think Jasmine Crockett should have to? Now, the rules don't say she has to live in her district. But do you think that the locals will say, nah, look, you don't even live in our district. You can't represent us. Or do you think they're going to clamor for that old Crockett ratchetness and say, we want you, Crockett. We want you. What do y'all think is going to happen? Y'all think Crockett might actually lose? Listen, popular people in the House of Representatives have lost many times before. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last. But y'all let me know what you think about this. Drop a comment down below. Before you do, please stop, hit that share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. If you're not a subscriber, just tap that subscribe button and become a subscribee. Get the information on how you can protect your retirement from the upseas, downseas, the rounds, and the rounds. Want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one. I know nothing about this new 200,000, and so I'm a data-driven girl, so we're going to run the numbers, and then obviously I want to talk to my colleagues and say what kind of makes sense so that at least hopefully two of us have the best shot at going back. I would imagine that's going to be a difficult conversation. I imagine so too. But I think this entire time I will say the three of us have been very, very good and very cordial, like we're not the problem. We know where the problem lies. And so there may be a number of options, but I think we need to explore all the options to make sure that hopefully we're returning those experienced members to Congress. And minimizing the risk of, for all I know, in this new 200,000 crop, there's 5 or 6 people that are thinking, this is what I want to run in. Now, whether or not they'd be effective at getting at the other 500,000 is a whole other question. But there's a lot of questions to be answered, especially if people feel like their representative needs to live in the district. That is something that I know we're kind of used to doing, especially when you talk about the State House and the State Senate. So, I want to be honest, open, and transparent with my constituents. Like, if I'm running in 30, I don't live there and they don't pay me enough to go and buy another home. So, I'm not going to move into the districts. Obviously I'm engaged in litigation, have been engaged in litigation since 2021. And my goal would be to reconnect the district. Because they did remove all the economic engines out of my district, which is one of those red flags when we're looking at whether or not there's been a violation of the Voting Rights Act. And so, I live basically very close to Dallas Love Field, one of those economic engines, which is one reason I felt like, all will be well, besides the fact that they asked me for my address and confirmed the census block that I lived in, and they completely ignored these certifications.